Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Nilambujam Shyamalkomalangam Sita Samaropitavamabhagam Panau Mahasayakacharu Chapam Namami Ramam Raghuvanshanatham. Adorations to Lord Rama, whose complexion is like a blue lotus, who is very tender and delightful in appearance. Sita is seated on his left side and he is carrying a powerful bow and arrow in his hands. That's a stotra from the Ayodhya Kand. Sri Ramcharitmanas, Balkand, and verse number 14. Saral kabit ki rat vimal soy adarahi sujan सहज बयर विसराई रिपु जो सुनि करहि बखान. Wise people respect those poems or those compositions. They are referring to the compositions that go to constitute scriptural literature. Scriptural literature can be, in poetic form, can be in prose form, or in a highly literary form, or simple form. But those who are wise and advanced, they don't go after complex literature, because going after complex literature tickles the brain. Then you think you worked out something great. But the highest teachings expressed in simplest literature. And great teachers are not at all involved in presenting his views in a complex literature. The complex literature is called Bak. Mahabharata dramatizes that as a great demon, Bakasur. Think of all the 10 commandments of Lord Jesus, how simple they are. So in the entire Bible, it is those commandments that are considered the cream of all the teachings. So that's the idea. On the other hand, presenting high literature is also a part of positive spiritual movement, because you have to draw the minds of people, minds that are distracted in so many directions. Sometimes simple teaching draws the attention of people. Sometimes you present a riddle. What's goat? I'm joking. But it's a good riddle. Greatest of all times. G-O-A-T. You are a goat. So sometimes teachings are given that tickle your brain. Because we are dealing with all types of people. But those who are advanced and who have begin to pursue a right course, They go after simple. Simplest of teachings are close to the truth. Complex teachings, that you have to figure them out. Simplest of teachings. Serve, love, be good, do good. Meditate, realize. Even a child can easily start saying this. And it contains the essence of all scriptures. Tulsidas Ji is planning to write the Ramayana, and he's invoking blessings and grace of all personalities, sages, saints, ordinary people. And in this process, he says, wise men respect those compositions that are simple, which portray Nirmal Charitra, character and activities of those who are Nirmal. Nirmal means mala is gross impurity. If mind is burdened by or dominated by desire, anger, hate, delusion, conceit, jealousy, when you count them, there are only 6. But these 6 go through countless branches. And mind that is dominated by mala, that mind cannot grasp spirituality. It grasps in a wrong way. Tulsidas Ji says, my intellect is little. Therefore, I again and again invoke the grace of all the poets. May they shower their grace on me so that I may bring out the glory of God through my composition of the Ramayana. Kavi ko vidya Raghubara Charit Manasa Manju Maral Bal Binay Suni Suruchi Rakhi Lakhi Mo Paraho Hu Kripal. All those who are kavis. Kavi refers to those who write verses, compose poetry. From profound point of view, kavi refers to those who bring out literature that inspire your mind with faith and devotion. If faith and devotion, Shraddha and Bhakti, does not ooze out of your composition, don't take it literally, then it is not a bhakti literature. It is a dry and purposeless literature. So then, Tulsidas Ji is offering prayers to all poets and spiritual writers of all times. May they shower their grace. Here again, you need to understand that all persons, they are like leaves. Human personalities are like leaves. The source of all these leaves is one big tree. And that tree is God. So ultimately, you are asking for God's grace. But in the practical world, that grace has to flow through all human beings, animals, birds, all. You can. How extensive you want to make your mind, that depends upon you. Oh, poets and pandits. Term pandit is very well known all over, it is international. There are political pundits and there's missionary pundits and all types of pundits, referring to greatest scholars. But the meaning behind Pandit is one whose wisdom, one whose understanding awakens Viveka Buddhi, Panda Sanjayate Yastu. Panda term means Viveka Buddhi, discriminative intellect. So, whoever has that capacity to allow your intellect to become intuitional is a Pandit. That's from a very profound point of view. So, all those who are poets and Pandits, they are like swans in the Manasa lake, in the lake of purified mind. These great personalities who have sung glory of God in different ways, they are like swans, hamsas. Hans term again is a very popular and profound word. Hans literally means swan. But hamsa, soham. Soham Sanskrit word is I am that am I. An affirmation that I am in you is not your ego. I am in you is the absolute self. That is stated as soham, sah aham. And you turn it around, aham sah, and shorten it, it becomes hamsa. I am that am I. If you have that type of awareness, then you are like a swan. You soar beyond all limitations of the world in the boundless expansion of divine joy. Otherwise, you stay a crow. Nothing against the crow. Bandham Munipad Kanju Ramayana Jahi Nirmayau Sakara Sukumal Manju Dosha Rahita Dushana Sahit. I adore the lotus feet of sage Valmiki, who composed the Ramayana. The Ramayana, his Ramayana, contains demon Khara. Khara term means harsh. And yet his composition is very soft. It's a poetic writing, therefore you are being given allegorical statements. When you read this story, you encounter the story of Khara and Dushana, how terrible they were. They are demons with immense power, immense terror. So when you study scriptures, you study terrifying stories. But the result of all that story is tenderness of your heart. Because all those terrifying stories simply refer to your impurities and how the impurities are destroyed by divine movement in you. All the impurities are like forces of darkness. Like as the sun rises, the rays of the sun chase away all the darkness. So as you study the scriptures, you hear the story of darkness and how it has created such havoc and devastation. But then you come to the grip of understanding that all the forces of darkness are nothing before the radiation of the divine love, the radiation of knowledge. And you are essentially divine. So then, Khar Sahit, Khar Rahit. Khar Sahit means the Ramayana that is going to, the Tulsi that Valmiki wrote, had stories of terror. And at the same time, absolute absence of terror. Similarly, it contains Dushan. There is another set of demons known as Dushan. Khara Dushan, they were brothers of Ravana. Ravana is ignorance. Khara refers to donkey. Dushana refers to something extremely bitter. These are negative qualities. They are kleshas, afflictions. And the scriptures deal with these negative qualities. They deal with the forces of darkness and how the forces of darkness are destroyed by divine personality and the forces of light. Bandam charyu ved bhavavari dibohit sarit jinahin sapne ho khed baranatar guhbar bishad jashu. I offer my adorations to the four Vedas, which are like broad ships to take souls across the ocean of the world process. The world process is the predicament of coming back into the world by repeated embodiments. Continue to do karmas. Karmas lead you to embodiment. In embodied state, let me give you the wheel of the world process. Virtue, vice. Karmas are of two types. Good karmas, but good is not absolute good. Good karmas are just like you give a lot of donations and you write them down and you save a lot of money. It's good karma. Similarly, you do good deeds and you remind those people, remember, Christmas is coming. Remember how good I have been. I'm joking. But the idea behind it, you may do immense good to people, but all that ends up inflating your ego. How good have I been? Then that dharma, that's called dharma, but that simply brings you a lot of pleasure and prosperity. So dharma, adharma, another name is given, punya and papa. Pap or adharma means sinful actions. Good actions, evil actions, their result, pleasure, pain, call it prosperity, adversity. And the result of prosperity and adversity is raga dvesha, attachment and hatred. All these six spokes continue to move in a wheel. The center of the wheel is ego. As long as you are moving in the world with ego-centered process, you are sick. You are subject to bhava vyadhi, the disease of the world process, which means you will be subjected to birth and death. How many times? There is no limit. So, in order to cross over this ocean of the world process, you bring about effacement of your ego. In order to dismantle the wheel, the ego center If the axle of the wheel is destroyed, the wheel will be dismantled. If ego is destroyed, the term destruction simply means if you were to understand that ego is not me, if you were to allow the ego to undergo a devotional movement of self-effacement, the more enriched you are spiritually, humbler you become. Humility becomes absolute within yourself. If that process goes on, you attain liberation. And that's the essence of Vedas. Vedas are four. Bandham Charu Ved. Tulsidas ji says, I adore the four Vedas. And he says that all these four Vedas, they present a great ship for the souls to cross over. Therefore, let me give you the essence of the Vedas. The essence of the Vedas, as I've already pointed out, if you practice the wisdom of the Vedas, to keep the story short, if you practice integral yoga in daily life, then you are practicing Veda in your daily life. And the Vedic wisdom is expressed in the Vedas in four great utterances called Mahavakyas. Rig Veda defines the highest self, Prajnanam Brahma. Brahman is pure consciousness. Yajurveda gives you a mantra. Rather, it gives you an instruction. Aham Brahmasmi. Meditate upon or inquire into I am Brahman. That I am Brahman, that great utterance comes from Yajurveda. Atharva Veda gave the utterance Tattvamasi. Thou art that. When the teacher says Aham Brahmasmi, the disciple hears it. Now rather, let me turn it around. Teacher says Tattvamasi. Thou art that. The disciple doesn't repeat it back. The disciple says Aham Brahmasmi. If the teacher says you are Brahman, you say I am Brahman. So Tattvamasi is Upadesha Vakya, instruction. Aham Brahmasmi is Anusandhana Vakya, practice of vichar, inquiry. And then there is Anubhav Vakya, the statement of experience. Ayam Atma Brahman. That's the Atharva Veda. Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sam Veda, Atharva Veda. Rig Veda, Prajnanam Brahma. Yajur Veda, Aham Brahmasmi. Sam Veda, Tattvamasi. Atharva Veda, Ayam Atma Brahma. And it is this great wisdom which is the essence of the Vedas. An entire purpose of Ramayana, writing the story of Rama, is meant to promote that wisdom which is presented by the Vedas. Bandham vidhipadarenu bhavasagar jahi kin jahan sant sudha sasidhenu pragate khal vishavaruni. I adore the lotus feet, rather the dust of the feet of Brahma, the Creator, who has created this ocean of the world process. From that ocean, good and evil have proceeded, referring to the stories of churning the ocean. And when the ocean was churned, nectar came out of the ocean. moon emerged out of the ocean. Kamadhenu, a mystic cow that confers all desires, proceeded from the ocean. Also, negative things proceeded from the ocean. Poison and alcoholic licorice drinks, Vish and Madira. All these stories have an engrossing story plan, but subtle meaning behind it. Your mind itself is the ocean. Practice concentration, you are started churning it. First thing that comes out of the churning of your mind, you become aware of your anger, your hate, your negativity. The poison begins to come out first. What's the remedy for it? Bring God. Let Him drink it. So Shiva drinks the poison. Now the churning goes on. Those who are Rajasic and Tamasic, they bring out of the minds certain skill and insight that will give them eat, drink, and be merry, that type of life. So that's described as sense enjoyments are described as poison, called Vishaya Sukha. Vish is poison. Vishaya is same poison, a little variation. Pleasures of the senses, they intoxicate your mind. You do not actually have to take poison and alcoholic drinks, but people there are who do take them, poisonous drugs and drinks. But that's the storyline. From the subtler point of view, as mind is being churned, negative and positive, both. Negative aspect emerges for your lower self. If your lower self is predominant, then it is looking for more pleasure, more power, more demoniac, swollen-headed mind. But the same churning will give you nectar, implying will give you purity of intellect, purity of heart, intuitive awareness of who am I. Mana eva manushyanam karanam bandha mokshayo. Mind is the cause of bondage and release. If you want to become a negative personality, that also requires mental concentration. Not easy. You are churning the mind, and the result is you turn out very negative. On the other hand, you churn the mind and positive qualities develop. And that's what is in order. The other one is not to be pursued. So all this became possible because of Brahma, the creator. The entire world has been planned by the creator to be of service, of purpose to every soul. Every soul is led to its evolution through the world process. And that again, you have to work upon it. The world provides for you your physical body, your subtle body, your pranas, your mind and senses, your ego, all your personalities in 3 levels: physical, subtle, causal. And all this world with all creatures, animals, birds, fishes in the ocean, and the vastness of space, countless world systems. All these have been the work of Creator, Brahma. And how did he create all this? By magic, by Maya. Because all these are not really created. All these are not real. Real is that which never changes. But all these go on changing. Just like you enter into dream. The whole world comes to exist in your dream within a moment. And you don't doubt it. You don't question it. Everything in your dream, the biggest, maybe even the Himalayas right there in your dream. Smallest, you may be looking at a little worm. The entire dream world doesn't exist. The entire big world that day to day we live with all our aspirations, that world also, it is existing only in relation to your conditioned mind. Mind, senses, ego. If all these are active, you experience the world. When these are not active, we go to sleep, senses move away from you, mind moves away, the very ego within you moves away from you. The world then doesn't exist. You go into deep sleep. Try to understand that the world experience is something like magic. It's not a reality. So all your efforts should not be directed to secure the world. From practical point of view, you leave no stone unturned in trying to fight against adversity and to promote prosperity. That's your self-effort. Only thing you have to figure out that your movement is sattvic. Sattvic, pure, not rajasic, tamasic. Once you have decided it is sattvic movement, do everything possible to promote it. But while doing that, develop bhakti, devotion, prayerfulness. Oh God, I am an instrument in your hand. Favor me, give me success by your grace. And a bigger success, give me devotion. Still bigger success, lead me to liberation. And liberation is for every soul to discover, I am that am I. विबुध विप्रबुध ग्रहचरण बंदिकहं करजोरी ओई प्रसन्न पुरबहु सकल मंजु मनोरथ मोरी. I offer adorations to gods, Brahmins, Pandits, and deities presiding over planets. May they fulfill my cherished desire. His cherished desire is to compose Ramayana that will inspire and will go on inspiring countless souls to pursue a life of devotion, practicing integral yoga in daily life, leading to Rama. Rama term refers in Ramayana is same as Brahman of the Upanishads, the absolute self. Same as Om of the Vedas. Rama means that reality that permeates all. the reality that gives joy in every heart. Rama term, Raman, the term relates, has twofold meaning. It enters all, permeates, and delights. So what is the interpenetrating essence of the word? Consciousness. And that discovery of the absolute consciousness is same as absolute joy. So, a movement in which you are discovering yourself as pure consciousness, that exudes the aroma of joy. And that's Rama. Punibandau sadar sarada sur sarita, jugal punita manohar charita, majjana pan papa har eka, kahat sunat har ek har aviveka. I also offer adorations to sacred rivers, river Saraswati, river Ganga. Those who are accustomed to going to India, they are aware of these names. Ganges River, Yamuna River, Saraswati River. Ganges and Yamuna, these are two distinct and great rivers. Saraswati is underground river. And all these three come together in a place called Prayag. So when people go to Prayag for having the benefit of going to a most holy place, and how does going to Prayag help people? Those who enter the Ganges river, by entering into the river, by taking bath, as well as by sipping the water, is the language of faith. Devotees have that faith that by entering into the Ganges and sipping the water, all their sinful karmas will be washed away. And depending upon your faith, it does. If you have no faith, then it won't work. And Saraswati River, you can't enter Saraswati, she is hidden. But by praying to her, describing her glory, Saraswati River, the deity of that river, destroys your ignorance. These words, Ganga, Yamuna, Saraswati, they are highly mystical words. Those people who are introduced to Kundalini Yoga, the mystic power that is awakened and led through the spinal channel, Sushumna. Three great energies emanate from the Kundalini. Three great channels. One channel is called Ida. Ida is the left. The result of that channel is that you breathe through the left nostril. The breath through the left nostril is considered cooling, passive. You breathe through the right nostril. That's the result of Pingala Nadi. That's a warming effect. And there are times when you are very relaxed, when both nostrils flow. That's the Sushumna Nadi, that's the Saraswati Nadi that begins to flow. And so while practicing Hatha Yoga and Kundalini Yoga, you are introduced to these subtle operations of divine presence known as Nadis, Ida Nadi, Pingala Nadi, Saraswati Nadi. Those who are more of the world, instead of the Nadis, they are being led to the very river. This is the river Ganga, here is the river Yamuna. If you are more subtle, You are led into your very body through your Hatha Yoga exercises. And if you are still subtler, Ganga relates to bhakti, devotion. Yamuna relates to dhyana, wisdom. Rather, Yamuna relates to karma and dhyana, lots of divine action. And Saraswati relates to wisdom. As a result of integral attainment, you attain enlightenment even within your very heart. Guru Pitu Matu Mahesh Bhavani Pranavau Dina Bandhu Dinadani Sevaka Swami Sakhasi Piya Pike Hitanirupadi Sababidhi Tulasi Ke. I also adore Lord Shiva and Parvati. They are my Guru and my parents. They are Dinabandhu. They confer their grace on those who are poor. The poor term simply means those who consider themselves humble. Nothing. I am not the body, I am not the mind, I possess nothing. If you have this type of understanding, you are the poor. And blessed are the poor. For yours is the kingdom of heaven. I'm repeating Lord Jesus' statement. If you take poor literally, that will be totally a distorted meaning. Because poor people are wretched people. Mystically poor, I possess nothing. Nothing exists, nothing belongs to me. I am neither mind nor body, immortal self am I. To those who have turned themselves to this mystic poverty, they become loved by God. They are the dearest ones. Sevaka Swami Sakhasya Piya Kipike, Shiva and Parvati. Their role is three types. They are the deities. They are the Lord and Master of Rama. They also play the role of being servant of Rama. They also play the role of being friends with Rama. How to figure that out, you see? I will give you a very profound aspect behind it. Meditation on God, that's the purpose of life. And there are steps. First step that secures the practice of your meditation is called Sagun Sakar. Meditate on that symbolic presentation of God that has a form and that has attributes. So when you are meditating on Rama, Rama has a wonderful form. So your mind goes after how he holds his arrow and bow, what is his complexion, what type of cloth he wears. All that sagun, that's easy. That's called sakar. You are holding your attention on the form. Along with it, attributes. He is full of compassion. He showers grace. He has amazing love to help you out of all your problems. And think of countless attributes of God. The Sagun Sakar level is given to both Shiva and Rama. When Shiva is Sagun Sakar and Rama is Brahman, then Shiva is as if bowing down to Rama. When Shiva is Brahman and Rama is Sagun Sakar. The Rama bows down to Shiva. So when you hear in the Ramayana both deities bowing to each other, you may figure that out. But while I'm describing next step is Sagun Nirakar. You meditate on God, but your focus is not so much about the form of God. You may choose Krishna, Rama, Jesus, whomsoever you want. But as you move, the form of the deity moves away. Your mind goes after the abstract qualities, compassion, all permeating presence, truth, bliss, love. That becomes your God. And that is seen even in the practical world. If you are on a trip and suddenly you don't see your mother, if you are a baby, and I'm talking of just an allegorical way to describe the situation, the baby goes on raising his eyes, where is the mother? When mother comes, he looks all over her. But then he goes after something else. The first attention is on your body, the body aspect. Second attention goes, body moves away. Now goes on scolding the mother. Where did you go away? And left me alone. I'm joking, but the idea is it could be positive. How much do I love you, oh mother? I was missing for you. Similarly with God, first stage you saw him with body. Next stage, body aspect moves away, his spiritual attributes. Third stage, neither the body nor the attributes. Nirgun Nirakar. Because you must realize, in the third stage, the very mind bows down completely. Like cloud moves away from the sun. If cloud is in front of the sun, it is always defining the sun. But when the cloud moves away or cloud creates a window within itself, then it doesn't have to describe the sun. The sun flows through it, and the whole cloud begins to dazzle. In other words, that state goes beyond words, and you know it. And that state of worship becomes Nirgun Nirakar. So Rama can be at one time Sagun Sakar. He can be another time Sagun Nirakar. He can be Nirgun Nirakar. And that's the predicament with all gods. And with this I will conclude. Hari Om Tat Sat. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Om Shri Ramaya Namah. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.